Welcome back. You've worked hard for your money. Now let your money work for you. Here's national finance expert and president of South Florida's Eppy Group, Joe Eppy. Joe, welcome to our show. Good to have you.
Great to be here.
All right, so the Eppy Group, let's start with that. Tell us about it.
So the Eppy Group started in 1993 when I relocated to South Florida from the Buckeye state of Ohio. And we started up at 600 Corporate Drive up in North Fort Lauderdale. And we have since relocated to this beautiful building downtown at the corner of Broward and Federal, where you guys have your beautiful studios. And we're in the insurance and financial service industry, but we come at it from a very, very educational perspective. As we know, unfortunately, from my life experience, that the whole world is unfortunately financially illiterate, and none of it is our fault.
Well, your life experience is super interesting. Tell us about your own personal journey.
So it starts back in Ohio, and my grandfather actually started in Canton, Ohio on $300 of borrowed money with a gas station. His family was very poor, and he convinced his dad to borrow $300 on his house to open this gas station, and then got in the used car business, and then bought a Chevrolet store in 1955. I went to Ohio State, got a degree in accounting, and when I moved back to Canton in 1984, I had the vision for the first auto mall. You see this everywhere today. Auto Nation, all these multiple franchises in one location. At that time, the manufacturers were dead set against that. They wanted separate facilities, separate staff. They made money if I sold their cars and their parts, and they frankly didn't care if their dealers were making any money or not. So we went out and bought Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen, Subaru, and Nissan in Canton, Ohio. But our attorneys never read the law that said if my buy-sell agreement said I was moving your franchise to my location, the manufacturer couldn't do anything about it. But if I bought you where you sat and then went to move it, I needed their permission. So all 5 manufacturers said no. And our accountant never talked to us about asset protection planning. So my parents, my sister and brother-in-law, and my wife and I were all exposed to the debt of the business.
Wow.
By 1987, these 5 franchises were losing $375,000 a month. So that's how my wife and I celebrated our 26th birthday with a net worth north of $3 million, and celebrated our 28th birthdays dead flat broke.
Oh man, oh, that's a horrible story.
No, but you know what? I learned a very important lesson early in life, that the easy part is making the money. The hard part is keeping it at the end of the day, and that's where we're experts. We're experts at helping people keep the money they work so hard to work for.
Glad you said that. So now let's all keep some money together. Give us the number one most important tip, no matter who you are, no matter how much you make. How do you keep the money?
First thing with any situation, I don't care if it's a financial situation or a non-financial situation, is to strategize. Too many people are reactionary in life. We have choices in life. We can go through life reactionary, or we can go through life strategizing. Most people act reactionary. You go home and your significant other says something to you, you react to it. You wake up in the morning, you look outside at this beautiful weather, and you decide what you're going to wear. And then there's those that have their wardrobe picked out for the entire week. They strategize through everything. And I joke about it a little bit, but it's really very true. If I'm having a serious conversation, I need to have a serious conversation with my wife, and I've been married for 34 years to the most wonderful woman on earth. But what I will tell you is that if I don't strategize before that important conversation, it never comes out the way I want it to. So strategizing is the key to anything in life.
Okay, so whether it's you or another financial coach, when you say strategize, what does that specifically mean? What are we strategizing?
So if you're strategizing about who you're going to use, who you're going to work with, the first thing you got to do is look for similarities. So people are comfortable doing business with people who are similar to them. It makes them like them, and it makes them trust them. Right? So you have to find someone who's similar to you that can relate to your particular situation. But the first thing you have to do is check out their approach, meaning that if it's a product-based approach, and if it's a product-based approach, the first question I always want to ask is, please show me your copy of the contract you own, because at the Eppy Group, we only eat our own cooking. So in other words, there's nothing that I've ever shown a client to do for themselves that I don't have myself.
Great.
Or have for my parents, or what have you. So we only eat our own cooking, and a lot of people want to start with products. We want to talk about the issues. What are you trying to resolve? Right? A retirement plan is great, but what's the purpose of it? Why do you want to have a retirement plan? And what is that going to look like at the end of the day? Because we all get kind of focused in on, I guess, saving some money and hoping it's enough at the end of the day.
Right.
But that's certainly not the way to do it when there's absolutely no do-overs in life.
So my financial plan up to this point has been to hold out until I win Powerball. Is that not a good?
That is a plan. Its chance of success are slim.
Right.
But the reality is,
but you can't win if you don't play.
That's correct. But
right.
the best thing about planning is that it can't cost you one more penny of allocation, because we're all identical. Everybody watching today, you, me, Lais, Mary standing over there, we're all identical. We take our income and first it goes to taxes and then it goes to bills. And if we're one of the lucky few, we have some going to savings and investments. But none of our income sits in outer space. And then if we're lucky enough to make a nickel on a savings account, we know at the end of the day we have this huge savings account today because we made a nickel. But we have three choices with that nickel. You can spend it, you can put it back in savings, or you can put it in a different bucket. So every one of us are identical. We allocate 100% of our assets and cash flow. And all we have in life is reallocation opportunities. So the certified financial planners out there are going to ask you your income and your expenses, your assets and your liabilities, and your goals. And then they're going to come back after doing fancy calculations and tell you how much more you need to put away. Well, that's impossible. Now, that does not mean these are bad people. This means that they're good people. I know a lot of them. They come from a place of great intention. We all do as well as we're educated and trained. We're financially illiterate. It's not our fault. If they wanted us to understand mortgages, they would have educated it to us at school. They didn't. Then we had a crisis and nothing changed in academia.
Sure.
Student loans, next crisis coming. We could educate high school students so they don't get ripped off when they go to college. It's not happening because the powers to be, Wall Street, the Wall Street banks, the federal government doesn't want it to happen.
Well, you are the man with the answers to all of these questions, these complicated questions. If people want to reach you, Joe, how do they do it?
They do it at our website, www.theeppygroup.com.
Perfect. Joe, good to see you. See you again soon.
Take care.
You got it.